Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi, author of 10 young adult novels so far, 8 of which I'm trying to rewrite this year. Welcome to vlog 38 of that adventure. We are currently writing Alan's book. So I got sick like 3 or 4 days after publishing book 3, Dusty's book, which was amazing. Loved it. And for a couple of days after that I was writing and making progress in Alan's book. And then I got sick, and then nothing was done for like a week and a half. And now it's the 22nd, I believe. It's the 22nd of October. We haven't finished writing Alan's book, which means we haven't done any editing on Alan's book. And right now, publication date is the 9th. That may have to be moved. I knew this month was going to be tight because I hadn't finished the book yet. But I wasn't planning on being sick for a week and a half. If I hadn't been, it would not be as stressful, but I was, and here we are. So Alan's book has like multiple books in it. The way that I've set it up this time around, it's got 4, I want to say 4, possibly 5. I think it started as 4, and then when I was writing I made another outline and then turned it into 5. So I think it has 5. 5 complete Save the Cat outlines. And then it has 2 complete Romancing the Beat outlines, but they're not separate, they're like woven into the Save the Cat stuff because the romance is happening alongside the rest of the plot. So basically there are 5 different parts of the book, but each part is an entire outline, so basically a whole book. The first 3 or 4 that I've done have been like 30,000 words each, so there's that. But I still have the end of part 4, which is what I'm currently writing, and then all of part 5 to do. All of it. I have an entire Save the Cat outline and Romancing the Beat situation to go through. A whole thing. Anyway, I'm writing today. I've already written over 1,000 words, almost 2,000. I don't know what my plan is for today, other than like finishing the part I'm currently on, and then hopefully starting the last outline of the book. Last week, while I was like dying sick, I managed somehow to merge my Save the Cat and Romancing the Beat outline for the final part of the book. Excuse me, I'm still sick. So I don't have to flip back and forth in my notebook that has all of the outlines. I don't have to like be flipping through the pages. I just have one section that has both Romancing the Beat and Save the Cat together. Yeah, which will be very helpful when I get to the last portion of the book, but I'm not there yet. We still have to, well, I still have to kill spoilers, I guess, for my Robinson series, because I talk about everything as I'm rewriting them. I do love the way that I have Alan's book set up. I really love it, because it's like a deep dive into his psyche and like why he is the way that he is. Why does he make the choices that he does? Why does he betray the gang? Excuse me, the more I talk, the more I want to cough. Anyway, yeah, so I really enjoy that I set it up the way that I did, because it wasn't this way in the original story. But the first story, which is a complete Save the Cat outline and Romancing the Beat, is like the snapshot of his youth. Oh, I seriously, apparently I can't talk. This was a bad decision. Anyway, yeah, it's a snapshot of his youth, and like when he's sweet and naive and he just wants to make his sister happy, and like he falls in love and it's adorable, and like it's a whole thing. But that section of the book ends when I kill everyone that he knows and loves, which is his actual like catalyst moving forward for the larger plot of the book. Obviously wasn't the catalyst for that little Save the Cat section, but for the overarching story of his life. Anyway, so then you go to part 2, which is when he's haunted by his past, plagued with memories. He's like in a really dark suicidal space. and he goes on the Crusades in the hope of dying. He's bitter and angry, and then he meets Robin Hood and Much, and there's some movement towards healing, kind of. So much so that he doesn't want to die anymore, but not like actually dealing with his trauma and his past, sort of just like ignoring it and becoming obsessive about the new people that he cares about. Like, he will do anything to protect them, and that's not a good thing, you guys. Especially because his idea of what they need protected from is the sort of grief that's been hounding him his entire life. Which sets us up nicely. At the end of the Crusades, we go back to Sherwood in England, and we start part 3 or 4. Listen, the parts got confused because I had a set number, and then when I was writing, I added an extra outline. I think the prison sequence was the extra outline. Anyway, whatever. Whatever number we're on, we get back to England, and then you get his next section of life, which is, like, growing fond of the gang and all of that, but also obsessively trying to protect them, and this is the point where he betrays them, because he genuinely believes that saving them from the grief of this random person dying, not random, it's the dad of one of the, anyway, he genuinely believes that saving this guy and saving his friends from grief is worth the grief they feel at his betrayal. Like, he's like, my betrayal, this person dying, obviously the death is worse. So, yeah, this is what happens. And then the fallout from that is that all of his friends hate him now, and he starts to hate himself, and he's just in a dark space again. And then we very slowly inch toward, like, realizing he brought this on himself, that he made a stupid decision, and then he's been holding on too tightly, like, trying to protect everyone. Like, it's not possible, and it's not healthy, and he needs to let go. And right when I get him there, I kill someone, which this is where I'm at writing-wise. I haven't killed the person yet. This is where we're at. And then you start the last section of the book, when he's kind of reeling, because somebody died, and he couldn't protect them from that grief, or from dying. Like, he couldn't protect the person who died, and he couldn't protect the people who are now grieving. And so his worst instincts of, like, trying to mitigate everyone's darkness so that they don't, like, he has darkness and he doesn't want anyone else to have that, so he goes, like, out of his way to try and stop that. But he was doing it in very unhealthy ways previously, and he knows that at this point. So he's fighting against his impulses of trying to make it all better, while also trying to find ways to make it better. Like, he's struggling. He's really struggling. And then we have his romance, when he actually starts to heal and deal with some of his problems, and then he meets this girl, and it's a whole thing. I don't know. And I don't know how the book is going to end. I haven't really figured that part out yet. We'll get there. But I need to get him to a place where he's mostly okay. He's forever going to be traumatized, but he's mostly okay, because in the sequel series, he's like a fairly chill dude. He's compassionate and kind, and he's a great dad and a husband, and, like, he's a fairly chill dude. But I have to get him there. And I've really put him through the ringer. Which was in, like, the events were in the original book, but not all of the emotions were, or, like, all the baggage. Like, there was the scene in the original book where Robin is like, come back to the gang. You saved Marion's life. I don't really trust you, but she says I have to forgive you, so whatever. The scene where he goes back to the gang in the original book, like, he's smiling and grinning and winking during that scene, and I was just like, this is an intense scene. His best friend doesn't trust him and is very reluctantly letting him back into the group, and he himself is in a place where he's kind of spiraling into self-hatred right now. So all of this banter needs to stop. It's definitely, it's in some ways darker, I think, than the original book, even though the plot is the same. But I think it's more emotionally accurate and resonant, you know? It's not just this person who's like unaffected. I don't know. Anyway, that's all the things. We are almost to the very last outline. So progress is being made, but we're not actually on the last outline yet, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to write the last, because it's like a whole book. It's a full outline anyway. I don't know. We're just going to write and see how far we get. Guys, I forgot the Worldwide Writeathon is this weekend. I was about to be like, I need motivation to write, and I pulled up YouTube to see if there were any writing streams. There are. Definitely are. Because it's the Worldwide Writeathon. The next one starts in 17 minutes, so we're gonna kill a character and hopefully start the last section of the book.
Mandi, teach us your ways. Mandi got 1,407 in that sprint. Teach us, please. Apparently subscribe to Mandi's channel if you want to learn how to write fast.
Wrote over 2,000 words. I didn't actually do the math. Over the last productivity stream for Worldwide Writeathon. Actually, at one point I was both doing the Worldwide Writeathon thing and also on a prickle at the same time, because I was on the stream and then a Slack notification came up, one of the hedges being like, I have some stuff to do, I'm gonna pop on the link, and I was like, I'm already writing, I could be there for accountability. So I opened up the Zoom and got on a prickle, but it was like a heads down, no chat, just do your work prickle. So they were just quietly in the corner and I was being, you know, accountability, but I didn't have to focus on it, so I stayed on the stream as well, which was like 40 minutes of work and then some chit-chatting between the hosts and the chat, and then 40 minutes of work and then chit-chatting and the chat. So it was actually, I mean, it worked out really well to just do both at the same time. Anyway, and then I took a break, got myself some snacks and some fresh tea and some water, and now we're diving back in. We haven't actually got to the point of killing the main character yet. Hi, I'm back. Battery died rather rudely. Anyway, there's been a lot of build-up to this death scene and then, you know, the winding down out of part 4 of the book. So it kind of feels like I'm never going to end part 4 of the book because I've been doing this all day long and I'm at like 4,000 words for the day and I haven't gotten to the death yet. We have crossed 90,000 words in the book. Last I checked, I think we were at 92,000. I don't know what to say. That's where we're at. I am, oh, hi fairy, okay. Listen, I'm trying to talk to people. Anyway, it's Sunday. I did not go to church because I've been super sick this week. You can't tell on this vlog because this vlog started yesterday when I suddenly had a bunch of energy, but I have been sick this week. Monday was like nausea and vomiting and like freakish chills. Did not have a fever, but shaking, freezing, cold sweat, like it was not fun. By Wednesday it had morphed into some sort of like my throat was killing me, had a giant headache situation. That was also the day that my brother-in-law, who was also feeling sick, actually went to see a medical professional and came home to say that he'd been diagnosed with strep, which aligned with what I was feeling, but I didn't actually go get diagnosed or medication or whatever, so I can't say with 100% certainty that I had strep, but I'm like 99% sure. Anyway, had the throat situation. Swallowing was a painful experience. And then by Friday, it had morphed again into like a cough deep in my chest. And then on Saturday, yesterday, it was a whole lot of sneezing. I coughed a little yesterday, particularly when I was videoing, because the more I talked, the more I coughed. But yesterday was mostly sneezing. I don't know what that was about. Today I feel relatively normal. I still have a little bit of a cough, but I think I'm getting through whatever this week was. I feel like I had 4 different illnesses during the week, but at no point I was healthy. So I don't know what all that was about. Whatever. We're moving on. I think the Worldwide Writeathon is still going today. I'd forgotten that that was happening this weekend at all. And then yesterday I just ran across it and was like, gotta do this thing. So I did. I was on two streams yesterday, both of which were like 2 hours long, 2.5 hours, I don't know. So it was a decent chunk of writing. I don't know, it was a very productive day, but after writing almost 5,000 words yesterday, I think that's what it was, I haven't finished part 4 of the book. We've crested 93,000 words, and we haven't made it to the last Save the Cat outline yet. We haven't made it to the last story arc. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this book. We are going to be lucky if we manage to finish writing it by November 9th, let alone doing any editing. So the publication date will probably have to be pushed. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not super fussed about it. A, because I'm not fussed. Whatever happens will happen. I'll be okay with it. And B, because I'm not that stressed about edits for these books, because it's a complete novel that was already edited and then published, and I'm just rewriting them and strengthening them, and yes, adding an excessive amount of content, because all the books have doubled in size, but like, I don't feel like it's enough for me to be like, oh no, I have to get someone to look at it. You know, it doesn't feel like a first draft, because it's not. It's not a messy, like, chaotic, I was telling myself the story situation. It's a full story that I've just added to and strengthened. So I'm not that fussed, honestly. There will probably be like typos and things that I will need to adjust. And probably other edits to be made as well, but honestly, I'm not that worried. And I do think, like, in the back of my mind, I'm kind of considering next year doing a light edit on all of them. Not excessively, but because I did kind of rush through this, like, write, publish, go, I do think I could take a few months next year just to, like, read over them one more time, or, like, go through my editor's notes or whatever, because I got way behind, obviously. So I got behind on sending my books to my editor, so I've been getting the feedback technically after publication date, and then updating the manuscripts. It's fine, don't question it. For the most part, there's just been like a couple of grammatical errors. Like, there's nothing wild. So, it's been fine. It's been working just well. Not the way it should be done, clearly, and it won't be done like this in the future. I have learned from this experience. However, I am going to finish this experience before I make any changes to the way that I approach publishing. Anyway, the point is, I think next year I might do a light edit on all of them just to ensure there aren't any more pesky little grammar mistakes or spelling errors or whatever. Because there probably will be, because I rushed through this experience. But the point is, I'm okay with that. I think the stories are still very strong, even with the chaotic publishing and like rushed editing and everything. I think they are still very strong. So I'm okay with putting it in the hands of readers as it is, and then, you know, slightly tweaking it. Doesn't bother me. Anyway, all of that is to say, the publication date might not change. If I finish Alan before November, and so I have like a week or two to actually read over it and do some edits on it, I'll probably just publish it. That's basically what I'm saying. Which I highly suggest you don't do if you are looking into self-publishing. I definitely would say get your books edited first. But that's not what we're doing. And it's gonna be fine. Honestly, I don't care. It's not an I don't care, like, I'm fine with putting out bad books. It's an I don't care, like, I'm confident it is a good book. And it has been edited in the past. Obviously not the new content, but, like, half the book has been edited in the past. And now has been, like, rewritten and edited even further. So, yeah, honestly, I'm not that disturbed. Anyway, all of that is to say, I need to write the last section of the book so that I know if I can do this, like, quick edit publish thing, or if I need to push the date. And I'm okay with pushing the date into further in November if that's what I need to do. I'll still do the live stream on the 9th because I already have authors lined up and we're, like, scheduled. It's a thing. So we'll still do the live stream then, but if the actual publication date is, like, the 19th or something, like, whatever, I'll be fine. See? Too much talking, the cough comes back. Anyway, you probably didn't see because I tend to edit out when I cough because it's a nasty sound. That was a lot of chit-chatting. The point is, I'm going to spend today, or at least this morning, writing. Probably with the Worldwide Writeathon. I've probably labeled this vlog the Worldwide Writeathon, because it is. Anyway, yeah, let's get busy with Alan, shall we? Oh, side note that I meant to talk about. I found out yesterday, because I was hanging out on AuthorTube, that the channel that I always go to with the playlist to, like, find author tubers that are, writing when I want to write on AuthorTube, which you've seen me do if you've watched my vlogs. I always go to this channel and look for the playlist. Anyway, Devin's amazing. We adore Devin. I found out yesterday, apparently YouTube banned his channel for some unknown reason, and then denied his appeal to get it back. And, like, basically his entire channel was just making the playlist for AuthorTubers, and we all love him. So this is a problem, and yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about that. I was so stressed. I was like, no, not the playlist, dude. Ah. Anyway, it's very tragic, and several AuthorTubers were posting on Twitter. I'm not active on my Twitter, not gonna lie, definitely not. I only started posting on it again, like, in the last 2 months, and I literally only post on publication day when I'm like, I've published a book. Anyway, I'm not active on my Twitter, but, excuse me, yeah, several AuthorTubers decided to storm Twitter and be like, YouTube, give him his channel back, we love him. So I did join the parade, I did tweet about that. But seriously though, Devin's channel is like a lifesaver. If you want to write and you're not sure who's going to be live, you just go to Devin's channel and you can see the whole day's worth of lives. Ugh. I'm so mad about this. I need Devin back. Also, because I was sick all week, and then a little bit the week before that, basically since like the 13th or something, I've not been motivated or healthy. So I published my book, The Song of the Nightingale. I was about to say Dusty, which it is, but it's the new Dusty. Anyway, I published The Song of the Nightingale on the 9th, and then typically what I've been doing every other month is that, like, on the 12th, I post the new cover for the next book in the series, and then on the 15th, I send out my newsletter, and so on the 15th, I post the new title of whatever book is after that, and then my newsletter gets the title and the cover a month early. None of that happened in the last week. There was no newsletter, there was no announcement of what Gisman's book is going to be called, there was no cover of Alan's book revealed, none of that happened. So, I'm playing catch up. Today I posted a, like, teaser, like, the cover's coming tomorrow, so sorry it's late. Tomorrow I'll be revealing Alan's cover and the title of book 5, which the title's not changing. The Tragedy of the Traitor and The Story of Gisman are the 2 books that I'm not changing the titles. I thought about changing The Story of Gisman because it's not a very strong title. It kind of follows the same you know, sentence structure, pattern, whatever, as the tragedy of the traitor, so I was like, you know what, that's one more I don't have to think up a new title. But it's not very strong. Like, the tragedy of the traitor, like, that tells you something. The Song of the Nightingale gives you an idea of something happening. The Legend of the Thief, like, when I revealed The Legend of the Thief as the brand new title for Lucy's Legend, I had my, who was it, my critique partner came at me with, like, she dropped an F-bomb and was like, this is amazing. That's not the sort of response I would expect to get on the story of Gisborne. It's just, it's a weak story as a word. Like, that's not interesting. I have legend, I have song, I have tragedy, what's Much's book? Journey. Like, there's interesting thing, and then you get to the last one, it's like, the story. Like, oh, okay. Anyway, so I did consider, changing it. Excuse me. I decided not to, because I wasn't going to change it, right? So, up until, like, last month, I wasn't going to change it. And then last month, when I was publishing The Song of the Nightingale, it suddenly dawned on me how boring the story of Gisborne was. So I briefly considered changing it. Excuse me. But at that point in time, my cover designer had already worked on the story of Gisborne, and it, you know, telling her to completely change the title would just add more work. And also, it's been a little convoluted this year because she's been doing 8 covers for me back to back to back to back. And so it's gotten chaotic because as she's working on one cover, we're also doing the final edits on another cover, and then sometimes there's still like the final files that she still needs to send me for a different cover. Like, it's been chaos, okay? It's been a little, I don't know if she feels chaotic. I feel chaotic. There's so much happening. So I really didn't want to add to that chaos by being like, so you know the cover you just made me? Could we completely change it? So for that reason, I decided not to go through the hassle of changing the story of Gisborne. Maybe I should, honestly. Like, when I talk it out, it makes sense as to why I think it's weak and why I think it should be changed. But honestly, at the end of the day, I'm a fairly lazy human being, and I will take the easiest route, which is keeping the title that the book had originally. So that's what you get. Anyway, whatever. What was the point of me ranting about the story of Gisborne? I don't remember. Oh, because I was revealing that the title hasn't changed. That's what it was. That, yeah. The Tragedy of the Traitor and the Story of Gisborne are the titles of the original books. The other 3 titles completely changed. So there you go. I don't know. Anyway, I need to focus. So what I'm going to do first is not actually write down. What I'm going to do first is get my newsletter set up for tomorrow, so that when the cover and title are revealed on Instagram and Facebook, my newsletter subscribers also get something extra. Typically, they get the cover of the next book, which would be the story of Gisborne. But technically speaking, Mandi and I are not actually done with the story of Gisborne yet. So, I could give them an unfinished cover and be like, what do you think? Or I could give them something else special. I'm not sure what to do yet. Here we are. Are you 1 hour in? I probably have an hour. I think we did it. I think we finished part 4. Ha! We are at, hold that thought, 93,730 words. We're moving on to the aftermath of the main character death. That's the opening image of the final, sorry, I'm grabbing it. My tea was sitting on it. Final outline. Let's do this. We start with, let's see, where's Alan at emotionally? He's afraid to lose loved ones, and he's currently fighting his worst impulses because he just lost a loved one, and so his, like, need to protect everyone drive, is, like, going crazy. But at the same time, he's like, no, the last time I gave into this, I betrayed everyone. That was stupid. We're not doing that again. So, yeah, he's kind of in a mess. Are you okay over there, Fury? He's kind of a mess right now, emotionally speaking. Plus, he's, like, actively grieving this person who died. So, that's where we're opening. I was gonna say book 5. It's kind of book 5. It's a complete outline for each part, so it's basically a book. yeah. Anyway, that's where we're opening this one. Get excited. Candle is lit, motivation is high. I've climbed deaf in 1 ear. So if I start shouting at you, this is why. Also, my nephew's being a little bit loud, but we're gonna hop on a prickle. We're gonna crank out some words. Okay, but that was a fantastic hour, and I wrote basically 2,000 words. We love it. We have hit 95,000 words, trucking along. Let's see how this goes. We're gonna finish this dang book this week. It's gonna happen. That's probably the end of this vlog. So thanks for watching. I feel like basically the vlog was just this weekend and not anything else, but that's fine. Yeah. The Legend of the Thief, The Journey of the Peacekeeper, The Song of the Nightingale are all available. There are links in the description to paperback and ebook distributors. You can go check out the rest of the Robin Hood series before Alan publishes, possibly on November 9th. Or later in November. At some point.